for the Arizona Cardinals. They are starting to break through the national barrier of content. They are starting to be talked about by national outlets. You're starting to see, I saw a story on ESPN today about, are the Cardinals for real? I saw stories on Yahoo Sports talking about the Cardinals. You are starting to see, after defeating the Jets, being 6-4, being in first place going into their bye week, and a 10-game sample size, people are starting to turn the corner and talk about the Arizona Cardinals. And one of the reasons why they are talking about the Arizona Cardinals is because of what they have done over the last 4 games. We've been in the weeds here on this show about the last month of games for this team and how they have played really good football. Beat the Chargers on Monday night, went to Miami and beat the Dolphins via a fourth quarter comeback, blew out the Bears at home, blew out the Jets at home. That's what the last 4 games have been for the Arizona Cardinals. 12 straight quarters at home without allowing a touchdown. You have to go back to September for the last time they've allowed a touchdown inside State Farm Stadium. They have just been playing really good football. But it's felt, at least from a vibes perspective, and everything now in 2024 is about vibes, how we feel about stuff. I don't need numbers. What's the vibe check? Well, the vibe check for the Cardinals, at least to me, has been teams playing really good, solid football. They're playing complete team football. It's been a complete team effort over the last 4 weeks during this 4-game winning streak. This has never really felt like a offensive or defensive juggernaut. You have not felt like you're watching, we'll just use last Thursday's game as an example. Have you ever really felt watching the Arizona Cardinals over the last month or so that you're watching Lamar Jackson in the Baltimore Ravens or Joe Burrow in the Cincinnati Bengals and the numbers and the offensive output that they put up? Have you felt that? Have you felt like you're watching a team be able to win a track meet? I don't think so. You have watched a team that has played really good, solid, gritty, complementary football, which is what they want to do. This is who they want to be, and they're doing it in spades. It's led to really good success for this team. They're in first place. Yet the numbers tell a bit of a different story. And I love advanced numbers that can go under the hood a little bit, that can tell me more about what my eyeballs are telling me, because my eyeballs are telling me really good team, playing great defensively. Next man up mentality has been awesome. They're playing better than their talent would indicate. They're coached really well. Offensively, things are in rhythm. Things are looking good. Kyler Murray's not turning the ball over. They're running the football. It's opening up the pass. They're playing really good complementary football. They're just a good, solid football team. They're not wowing you with what they're doing. They're not the greatest show on turf. They're not the 85 Bears. They're not doing that. But on both sides of the ball, they're playing mistake-free, solid, gritty football. That's what they are, which is somewhat counter to what you should be doing in 2024, but they're doing it. They're doing it really well, and they're 6-4, and the proof is in their record recently. But the numbers tell you that the offense is maybe a little bit better than what you're actually seeing. And so we're going to go with some under-the-hood numbers, okay? We're going to open up the car that is the Arizona Cardinals offense. We're going to pop the hood, and we're going to look at some of the moving parts, because you see it on the highway, and, man, it's in cruise control. It's doing the speed limit. It's not, zigging in and out of traffic. It's not blowing by you doing 85. It's just, we're just taking a nice, solid car. We've put it on the highway, and we're going from point A to point B. Under the hood, when you look at the engine and you look at the components of the car and you look at the exhaust and the muffler and the brakes and the tires, when you look under the hood and you look at everything that's making it work, it tells a bit of a different story. It tells you, man, that car's actually a lot better than it looks. So these numbers, courtesy of the 33rd team on Twitter. Over the last 4 weeks, the Cardinals, and we're going to break each one of these statistics down one by one, and we're going to tell you what they mean. Because I can throw all sorts of advanced jargon at you and tell you about EPA and success rate and all this stuff. I'm going to tell you this statistic, what it means, what it matches with the eyeball test. So over the last 4 weeks, the Arizona Cardinals offense is first in success rate. What that means, staying ahead of schedule, keeping the offense in flow, not finding themselves in a lot of second and longs, third and longs. When they want to run the ball on first down, they're gaining enough yards to stay on schedule to open up the options for this offense. They're not getting to a place where they're one-dimensional. They're not constantly getting into third and longs where the opposing defense can pin their ears back because they know Kyler Murray and company have to throw here. They're finding success on early downs. They are successful in keeping their offense on schedule. So they are the best team over the last 4 weeks in doing that. They are second in EPA per drive. What does that mean? They're incredibly efficient and effective. On a per drive basis, they are efficient. They're getting big plays. They are effective. They're not wasting plays. They're not having a lot of plays go sideways on them. They are incredibly efficient with what they are doing. That is a credit to Kyler Murray, keeping the offense on schedule. Kind of goes hand in hand with the success rate. So first in success rate, staying ahead of schedule. Second in EPA per drive, being incredibly efficient. They are third in yards per play. What does that tell you? We're not check down Charlie. We're not dinking and dunking our way up and down the field. We are having success with big plays. Now, maybe it's a screen pass in the backfield that's going for 15 or 20 yards, but we're not dropping back and constantly looking for the check down. We're not dropping back and constantly just hitting a 5-yard out route. These are big chunk plays for the Arizona Cardinals offense. Third in yards per play over the last 4 weeks, over the last 4 games. So you have an offense that is more successful than any other offense in terms of staying on schedule over the last month. They're second in efficiency. They're third in yards per play. Kind of goes hand in hand with the success rate. They're not just, 2 yards here, 3 yards here, 5 yards here, another 2 yards here, 4 yards. No, it's 5, 6, 3, 18, 10, 7, 26. That's what this team is doing. They have that big play ability. They're tied for 6th in touchdowns. So a top 10 offense over the last month in touchdowns. What does that tell us? Man, I don't need to explain what touchdowns mean to the listening audience, but here's what I'll tell you. It means drives are not ending in field goals. It means they're ending with celebrations in the end zone. It means the scoreboard operator is putting up 6 instead of 3. And so when you're this successful, when you are this efficient, when you're getting these big chunk plays, it doesn't mean a whole lot unless it's ending in touchdowns. Well, guess what? The Arizona Cardinals over the last month, a top 6 team in touchdowns. They're also tied for 6th in the last month in turnovers. You know what that means? And this to me is probably the biggest thing on this list. When you limit the turnovers, when you're not throwing bad interceptions, you're not having the bad breaks of a fumble go against you. When you limit the turnovers, it allows you to be first in success rate. It allows you to be second in EPA per drive because you're not giving away plays. It allows everything to be in flow. And more importantly than anything else, it breeds the confidence in the offense for the players. It breeds the confidence in the offense for the coaches. You look at this. When you're first in success rate, you're second in EPA per drive, you're tied for 6th. When you're doing all of this stuff, as a play caller, everything's on the table for you. You want to do a little razzle dazzle? You want to add in some trick plays? You want to add in some options to make things just look confusing for the opposing defense? You want to mix up the looks? You can do all that when you're not turning the ball over and your offense has confidence and you're staying ahead of schedule and you're incredibly efficient and you have that big playability. Every single play on that Waffle House menu-sized play sheet is available to you. Every single option is available to the offensive staff. And so when you have that, you're confident as a play caller. When you're a quarterback and you hear that play call come into you and it's something maybe a little different, you're getting confident. And it's a cycle that stacks on itself. And so when you're watching the Cardinals offense, I don't know if it feels like they're doing this. You watch it and you see a big play from James Conner. You watch it and you see a big play from Trey McBride. You watch and you see Kyler Murray roll out to the one side, feel the pressure, and is able to jump in the air on one leg and throw it across his body to the other side to a wide open Trey McBride. You see all these things, but does it feel like you're watching one of the best offenses in football over the last month? I don't know if that's how you feel. I just watch a team that is incredibly efficient and incredibly disciplined, and a team that is just doing the right thing. But the stats would tell you it's more than that. This team's confident. This team is one of the best offenses in football over the last month. And if that offense continues to show up, that's first in success rate, that's second in EPA per drive, that's third in yards per play, the sky is the limit for this team in terms of what they can accomplish in the regular season. And so when you're watching the Arizona Cardinals, I don't want you to think anymore that you're just watching a solid, gritty, good, decent football team. You're watching something that's a little better than that on offense. And hopefully walking through this with everybody gives you a new appreciation for what this offense is doing, a new understanding of how good this team has been offensively over the last month. Because this is what it was supposed to be. The talk going into the year was this offense was going to be really good. Would the defense be able to keep up? Well, guess what? The defense is doing their job over the last month, specifically at home. The offense, under the hood, and maybe now with the eyeball, now that you know these numbers, they're also holding up their end of the bargain. When I saw these numbers, I don't know if I would have said that the Cardinals were first in success rate. I don't know if I would have said they were second in EPA per drive, tied for sixth in touchdowns. I don't know if I would have said that. I don't know if I felt like I was watching one of the top offenses. You ask somebody over the last month, who's the top offense? You're going to talk about Baltimore. You're going to talk about Cincinnati. You're going to talk about all of these teams. Philadelphia. I don't know if the Arizona Cardinals would have come up. The numbers say they should come up in that conversation.